Good morning, lovely people. I wonder if you have the same thing as me. So sometimes I get very cold hands and feet when playing chess, and I have thought that it's just because it's hard to heat rooms to the adequate temperature because of the energy prices. But I actually think I've got a theory that it may be because of the stress of playing chess. So when I'm playing a classical game, I have my heart rate going pretty fast and I can feel very nervous at various points when I'm being attacked, when I'm attacking, when I'm even considering attacking. And to stay in that state where your heart rate's really high for quite a long time, I think that may cause the blood to not be as available in the extremities. And I think it's like, focusing on major organs because your body thinks you're in a state of fight or flight. That's interesting. This afternoon, I've got a session with someone who I will introduce to you later, and they are a mental conditioning coach. So they're going to work with me for 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 months. And I will focus on things like playing when stressed or even trying to reduce stress whilst playing, because I know also that when I'm playing and I'm stressed, I'm much less likely to be creative and less likely to notice things. So that's just interesting. I've been constantly trying to warm my fingers and warm my toes, and I think that may be part of it. The only other thing I wanted to talk about today before we get onto rapid game is that I have noticed an improvement in my game, just in general. I have been noticing moves that my opponent has way sooner and way more often than I previously have been. So I noticed recently, instead of playing a queen developing move, I thought, okay, if I do play that queen developing move, my opponent can sack the bishop with check, pulling my king out, so they get a pawn for that, lose a bishop, but then they can bring their queen out with check, adding another attacker to this bishop, which looked like it was defended, but now it's not defended because it's got 2 attackers and only 1 defender, and they win a bishop, and actually I'm just down a pawn, and my king can't castle, and it's it's much more open, and so that was an amazing, that game. I still lost that game because I was playing against someone who was better than me, and eventually I did make a mistake, which led to me losing, and I was just in a generally worse position. But if I was focusing on results, I'd be annoyed about that, but I'm not focusing on results. I'm focusing on other things like the input, the work I'm doing, and the work I'm doing is paying off. I am able to notice a few more things. That's just an example. I've done a few more things like that where I'm playing better in general. I'm noticing things that my opponent is going to do or likely to do or could do more often, which is excellent. Tomorrow morning, you'll get a video from the car with more ad hoc thoughts. Every day when I do a video from the car, I will put a timestamp in to when there's something that's not me speaking in a car. So if you don't like that, if that's not your type of content, video stuff, then you'll always be able to skip ahead. So if you want to watch me playing a game, you can always just skip ahead to me playing a game. Let's go on to playing a game. All right, so a couple of moves into a game. I was planning to just play a normal 15-10 game, but I logged on to chess.com and found that I was being challenged by a High Priest Joe, and thought, well, they are ludicrously stronger at chess than I am, but it could be good to play nonetheless and probably learn something different than if I played another person around my rating. So, been pinned. Don't know this opening. They started, I think, with e3, just to show you what happened. So e3, d5, d4, knight c6, looking to support this push at some point, and then the bishop pinning. Need to make sure I don't go too far down on time, so I'm just going to start playing some moves. I may not explain every move because I find that if I'm trying to explain every single move and think out loud all my thoughts, then I end up way too low on time. I will pin that knight because I want to be able to push this, and it temporarily stops that. I'm also developing, and they don't really want to pull their bishop back because they put me in this pin. I don't think they want to quickly get me out of it. So temporarily I can't push this because of this knight being pinned. I'm going to ask this bishop a question. Okay, nice. And then I'm going to challenge the center whilst they can't push this pawn. It's a pawn sacrifice, but if they did take, then I have this beautiful center. And they can't take it with the knight because it's pinned. Okay, they're asking my bishop a question. I'm going to answer that by maintaining the pin. And if they push, I might sacrifice a knight to maintain the pin, win 2 pawns in front of the king side. Yeah, they're not going to do that. So I think I'm going to take this pawn. And is it worth pushing c5 and forcing that sacrifice of a pawn? It's probably better to get my king out of the center. So let's hold fire on that and get my king castled. They're playing very quickly. I know I want to develop that bishop, but I don't really want to develop it to e7. It feels a bit clumsy there. I would like to develop it to c5, and so if I can do that, but they're unlikely to take back. As in, they're unlikely to take d take c. So they want to recapture with the bishop. I can take this knight now, ruining their pawn structure, and I am really tempted by that. Yeah, I'm going to play that. Ruin their pawn structure. They seemed, yeah, I can't judge how well prepared they are for those kinds of moves, or if they expected them by how quickly they're responding, because they're responding very quickly to everything. I'd like to play my bishop out. I think I'm going to go to d6. I have maintained enough defense of d5, so it's okay that my queen no longer sees d5. It is on the same, there's no pawn to fork these 2 pieces. Let's do it. I like that it's on this diagonal. If at some point I drop it back and then I'm threatening checkmate. I know it's easily parried here, but good to be eyeing up the heart of the king side, of white's king side, especially as I've ripped open the pawns that would normally be defending them. When I've played bullet in my time as a chess player, I have played much better against higher rated players. I want to play this, threatening this, opening up the eyes of the queen. Safe to do so yet. But then I'm inviting this. So this, knight h5, pawn push, queen infiltration, pawn takes, queen takes, threatening mate. This. Here? No, that doesn't work. I need to get my king off the... They're very quick. Incredibly quick. What if I take? They're going to take here? Or are they going to take with the bishop? They don't really want to get rid of the defenders of that pawn because I can do this quickly. So take, get this queen. Is that demoting the queen? I mean, I could always push and really just say to the queen, I'm sorry, but is that a problem for white? I'm going to take this pawn. And I'm going to follow it up with this knight move. Now I'm threatening to take this pawn on f4. And if they come back with the bishop, I'm just going to come in with the queen, threaten even more stuff. I think I should dodge this bishop exchange. If I go here, can they win the bishop in any way? That keeps pressure on this pawn. This pawn's now pinned, so stuff like this is in the air eventually. Got 2 undefended pieces after that move. Is there a move which can take advantage of that? No, I don't think so. Let's go for it. I know that things are a little bit loose with those 2 pieces, but this secures the knight, and it's a move I really want to play. Knight g3. Yep, anticipating what I want to do. I could play knight f4, bishop takes f4, queen h4, attacking the now undefended knight, and no, the bishop is defending the knight. But it's a cool idea. Actually, if I go queen h4 now, knight takes knight, queen takes pawn, check, king h1. Oof, don't have enough. 6 minutes, 38 seconds left. I could get my knight back into a more central location, eyeing up a good central square. They may trade their bishop, but I don't think they'll want to trade their bishop. If I just come here and then takes and takes, no, I want to come back. Knight f6. No, a move I can make is queen b6, attacking a pawn and another pawn. In fact, that's a lovely move. That wasn't actually attacking that pawn. I hadn't noticed the bishop's great positioning. I think I'm going to try and challenge that bishop. Although I like that the pawns are split. I'm going to challenge the bishop in a different way. I realised if I go here, then they can just take, and then my king is weakened by that. Take, check, go in the corner. The thing is, when someone makes a move like this and they're so much higher rated than you, you just think you've probably seen something. They can't go here though, because I've got the pawn push, and this is covered. I'm just going to go for it. I don't have time. I think I've seen a fair amount. Okay. If I go in the corner, which is what I want to do, because then this is so nice. There's a point usually where you go, oh, I see the checkmate now. The fact they're taking more than 2 seconds to make this move is very encouraging. Extremely encouraging. I want to go to my favourite square for the queen in this game, queen h4, putting pressure on the knight, and actually pressure on this pawn. Let's be really careful though. They want to bring their rook over, that's fine. That would be a killer move. That would be such a good move. Okay, that's opened up my knight's view of f6 again, with a potential hop to e4. I should bring my rooks into the party, so this is a potential, this is a potential, and if this, then this. I like to get, what are they going to do next? Their attack has not worked. I'm pretty sure that their attack's not worked. I was going to increase the pressure by putting my bishop to, that's a tempo move. That is a good move, I think, because it forces white to do something. And if they push, I'd like to push this pawn. It's probably, I'm coming back with the queen because I think my position is better and their queen is more active. Let's be safe and offer a trade of queens. If they don't accept, then I win a pawn. I have got 2 undefended pieces now though. So if they come in like that, I have to babysit those pawns. Those pieces. All right, they've got a lot more time than me to think about this. So let's ruin their structure even further. Take control of an open file, or at least lay stakes to that open file. They can easily challenge. I'm not really controlling it. That knight is stuck defending a pawn at this point, which is, I could come over and attack that knight. Bit of a rook lift. Yeah, as I said. I like this square for my knight. They can't go here just yet. Okay, I think so that rook can't come to either of these squares. Is it worth me pushing this and giving my king a square? I think it is worth doing that. But I've also got this lovely move in. Okay, I'm claiming that I've got enough control over the back rank, the entry point of the white rook, that I can do this. I know that I'm potentially going to lose this pawn because I can't keep control of everything, but I'm threatening so much that I think that's okay. So we could defend that. We can defend that, and then if I defend it and then they go down here, then I can just go along here. And that's not a check. Even if it was, it wouldn't be a problem. I'm going to defend it. And then I'm going to push because my bishop is on this colour complex. And I can take with an attack on that. It is getting nerve-wracking. My hands are cold, as mentioned. So keep attacking. And then didn't see that. So now I'm going to defend. And we're still doing well because we're still attacking this. Oh, no, because now they can go here. Oh, they can't because my pawn covers it. I'm being quite lucky here. This, as mentioned, yeah, I can do, they are losing pieces. I may win a game against a 21-31, and I now need to put it to bed. I'm up 2 pieces. My pawn structure is unquestionably better. My fingers are cold. My heart rate is this fast. Beat, 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 beat. Just getting my knight to a defended square. Now to improve my king, temporarily putting it in a pin. I could win that pawn now. So they're going to go here. I think that's fine. They can't even attack that knight because I've got that covered. I'm going to stop that for now. I know it's passive, but the king can't take, because the rook's taking covering it. The king can't come to any of these squares, and the rook soon won't be able to come to any of them. Well, even if the rook comes there, if the rook won't sacrifice itself for that. Okay, let's start making moves on the other side of the board. I don't think they're noticing that bishop covers that. What if I just keep pushing? Yep, just keep pushing. No checks. Rook has a responsibility. If the rook goes to that square, which it will have to, I think, after this, rook to a8, then this knight's 4 moves away from that square, 3 moves away from attacking that square. But the bishop can have its eyes opened. So, for example, let's go here first, not blundering that pawn. Yeah, we lose a bishop, that's fine. I think that is okay. Let's at least take a pawn, go down fighting. Let's not start blundering just because I made a mistake. 21 seconds. We can give a check. We can defend our stuff. They can't pin that knight, which is very nice. Give another check. Another check.
Win a pawn. I've got 41 seconds. I'm not in a huge rush. Just make sensible moves. Centralize the knight. Don't lose sight of that pawn. They have to go back. I am going to win this game. No stalemates. Opponent would like to chat. Yes! Come on! Jesus! That's very, very good. Oh, well, okay, so they weren't actually 21. I was way happier about that, given that I thought they were that high. I thought they were that highly rated. But really happy with that.
Well, that was absolutely fantastic. Very happy with that. I think that although losing and learning from those losses is just as good as winning and learning from those losses, it's nice to get some wins in, especially against a higher rated player. Now, that player was 21 something when I played them on chess.com, and they lost a load of rating down to 15, 13 because of that loss, because they haven't played that many games. But this afternoon, they carried on playing games, and they're now up to 1888, I think. So not really probably beating a 2100 on chess.com, but beating someone who can, as soon as they lose to me, get back up to the dizzying heights of almost 1900. So pretty good. And let's look at some of my mistakes and some of my better moves. And then I'm just going to pick out a few of the things that I'm going to try and learn from them. So ever so quickly, firstly, a good move from me. So this is the position. I'm just looking at in a Lichess study, so that's why the colours of the squares are different. Bam! As I said in the game, I was happy with that. The reason is, if they take, then I can actually push e5, because they can't take it, otherwise they'd lose their queen. And I have this beautiful pawn duo in the centre. This d pawn is well protected, so they can't take that either. Just very, very pretty. And it looks like a pawn sacrifice, is a pawn sacrifice, but they're probably not going to take it, and they didn't take it in the game. So that's pretty good. Next move, a mistake. So just before we get to the mistake, I was pretty happy with this move. I didn't highlight it as a particularly good move, but I think as soon as I could, I took that knight, shattering the pawn structure any time before they could have taken back with the queen, and their pawn structure would have been safe. But as soon as that bishop landed there, my eagle eye spotted it, took that out of the picture. Look at that, amazing. Terrible for white, and their king is a little bit airy. But immediately followed up with what I consider a mistake. I got my bishop out, sort of not realizing that last move by white meant that this is now attacked twice and only defended once. So I am going to lose that pawn if they saw it, which they didn't. I'm also considering the next move a mistake, which is for the same reason. I castled. They could have taken the pawn. Again, they didn't. If they're not going to see it once, they're probably not going to see it twice. Maybe that's not a mistake. Okay. And lastly, all next to each other, actually, these mistakes. So in this position, I took that central pawn. Now, after looking at it, I think that one of my candidate moves was to push, and I actually think I should have pushed, because if I push, they can't really come back to d2. They could, but my knight would get a nice tempo on the queen into a beautiful square, assailable, basically. It's on an outpost in the middle of the board, so well placed, and it attacks the queen, so they're not going to go there. So instead, they're probably going to go to d1 and sort of completely demote themselves, and then I can go about that plan I already had of getting my knight to h5 and my queen to the beautiful h4 square. She deserves to be there. It's an amazing square. Okay, next mistake. So what I didn't really notice is that once that bishop is on this square, which I let it get there, which because of a move I made, I let it get there. I'm like, okay, brilliant. Let's carry on with my plan. Let's play knight h5 now, and I let the bishop in. That was not the mistake. I'm getting confused. Sorry. So I now move my bishop out the way. And in the game, I was like, yeah, I'm pinning this pawn. That beautiful queen h4 square like is calling out to me. But actually, I missed a tactic here. I could have taken, and then when the pawn takes, give a check. And whatever the king does, if it's blocked with a knight or the queen, or, well, it's not going to be blocked with a queen, they'll take it with a knight. But whatever happens, I win a pawn, a central pawn, a glorious pawn. I didn't do that, so I missed that in the game. Okay, 2 more good moves from me, or what I'm considering good moves. In this position, I played queen h4. I've already mentioned it. I gave you a bit of a spoiler there. I played queen h4. Now, they have, in this position, they have sacrificed their bishop. I took them seriously. You should always take your opponent seriously, but I was really nervous about them having a proper attack here. And I calculated a few lines and couldn't find anything concrete that was scary enough to not take the bishop. So go for it. Take the bishop. When the check comes, calculated I can just move to the corner. And maybe they thought they had this. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. But in that case, I can just block with a pawn. And I'm not sure if there was another move that I'd calculated. Yeah, maybe that's all they missed. Maybe they thought that the bishop was hanging. I don't know. But in this position, I just managed to get out of it. And then, queen h4, saying to you, I'm sorry, white, you have no attack. I have an attack. I'm attacking your f2 pawn, and you have to go back with your knight, proving that knight move and the whole attack was just for nothing. And then my last good move that I'm going to mention in this video is a couple of moves later. Apparently I play mistakes and good moves together. Worth noting. In this position, I had Andras Toth sitting on my shoulder saying to me, put this game to bed. Don't mess around. Don't try and be fancy. Just play a simple, clinical move. Whammy. I'm not sure if it's any good. On paper, like in theory, but objectively. But in practice, with 2 minutes left on my clock and them having 11 minutes and 10 seconds, that move is great. Why? Because it forces a queen trade. I'm actually attacking this pawn, and if they go, well, they can't go here. So if they go to b3, then I can shift my rook over, and I'm insisting on that pawn being taken. It's not the best pawn in the world, a b pawn. In Andrus's last video, actually, he talks about the poison pawn and why we don't care about it that much. But in this position with, let me go here, for example, with white's pawn structure already massacred, I think that taking that b pawn is fantastic. So they didn't do that, and they tried to attack my queen, and now I follow it up by taking the queen, massacring their pawn structure in a different way, and look at this board. Like, I've eliminated the queen, I'm up a piece, and I am going to win. I managed to lose my bishop, but it was like I was down in crazy time trouble. Very happy with this game. I'm going to end it here. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe. And if you would like to see more videos like this, please like this video. And that's fantastic. That's brilliant. I'm in a good mood, as you can tell. I'm really liking all the comments that you're leaving in the videos, and I'm sorry I'm not able to respond to all of them. I'm trying to give myself a bit more time to do all the sort of like responding to comments, because you're taking the time to write them. I do appreciate it, and I need to get better at that. So I apologize for not getting back to everyone. And please do keep writing comments, asking questions, leaving your opinions of things. I read everything. I haven't responded to everything yet, but I'm getting better at it, I promise. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're having an excellent start of the year. And I'm looking forward to chatting with you soon. Goodbye.